Hey guys, how are you? I want to film a very quick video and I wanted to talk about the differences between a common law partner and a conjugal partner. Okay. The reason that I wanted to address this is because this is a very common question that we get, and a lot of people don't understand the differences between that. So, for immigration purposes, there's three different types of relationships that we have. Okay. The first one we have is a married, and I'm talking about relationships for like a spousal sponsorship. So the first one that we have is a married couple, which means that they've entered into a marriage that's legal in the place that it's been performed. The second one would be a common law relationship, which is basically you're in a 1 year cohabitation. You know, there's intimacy, there's emotional ties. You're in an exclusive, interdependent, married type relationship. The other one is a conjugal relationship. And the difference with conjugal is it's basically you would be in a relationship, however, for whatever fact there is. And we're going to go dive a little bit deeper into that. Okay, so for immigration purposes, okay, and I want you to pay attention to the fact that we're talking about interdependent. Okay, so for immigration purposes, you're not legally married to the person, you're at least 18 years of age or older. It can be of either sex, so it can be a same-sex relationship or a member of the opposite sex, and you've been living together consecutively for 12 months, okay, in a marriage-like relationship, okay? So interdependent on each other. And that word comes up a lot. You'll see that in the case law. You'll see that in a number of different venues, okay? For immigration purposes, the onus is on the applicant to show that you're in that type of relationship. So in that respect, you're going to have to show that you meet all of these different things. They're going to ask for a bunch of documentation, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to show all this. For immigration, you're going to have to show that you have a relationship. You're going to have to show a sponsorship evaluation questionnaire. If you were in a relationship before and maybe you've been separated or there's a separation agreement in place, this could actually be very important. Immigration has their own form, which is a statutory declaration of common law union. You're going to have to show any birth certificates or things of both parents. You're going to have to show photos of your relationship. And you're going to have to show other things where you're recognized as the other person's common law partner, for instance. Okay. Documentary evidence, such as financial support, proof that the relationship is recognized by friends and family, is always a good thing to show. All of these different things. Okay. Now, if you're cohabitating, you have to show at least two of the following things. You want to show a joint ownership or a residential property or a lease or some sort of rental agreement. You want to show utility bills, phone bills, credit cards, joint bank accounts, preferably at the same address. Vehicle insurance is a good one. If you're both driving a car and you're both on the insurance slips or you're sharing that, any government issued IDs at the same address, things like that. The other thing that you'll probably want to show is you're going to want to show things like insurance policies where somebody's the beneficiary or things like this. Okay. In a conjugal type relationship, you're going to want to establish this in a little different way because obviously you're not maybe living together. That's the thing. So you might want to show how, I'm in this relationship if but for, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you can actually sponsor your common law partner if you've been living together for a period of at least 12 months. It doesn't have to be just here, but it has to be living together and it has to be documented. Okay. So hopefully that outlines a little bit on the common law side. Let's talk about the conjugal side. So for immigration purposes, a conjugal partner is somebody who's not legally married nor in a common law relationship, lives outside of Canada, is at least 18 years of age or older, and not living with you nor married to you in the country of residence because of legal restrictions. Okay. So for instance, legal status, sexual orientation, for instance, maybe same-sex relationships are not prohibited where you are. Maybe there's no divorce. Or maybe persecution. It might be, for religious purposes, you might be persecuted depending on the relationship. But what you need to show and what's important is, here's that word again, an interdependent relationship. So what you really want to show is an interdependent relationship where you're financially, socially, emotionally, and physically in a relationship, and it's only being prevented by some of the reasons above for you to not get married. Okay? Now, Conjugal relationships, I will tell you, are tricky to prove, obviously, because you don't have a lot of the documentation that you would have, but you have to show that you have evidence that you've maintained the conjugal relationship for at least 12 months, proof that you're in a committed and mutually interdependent relationship, and of some permanence. Okay. You want to prove the inability to cohabitate due to persecution or some sort of penal control. There's a significant degree of attachment between you two. This is actually key, and you have to be in a genuine relationship of 12 months when the marriage or cohabitation hasn't been possible because of the barriers. Okay, these are all like key things. Now, I want to talk about something else real quick and just wrap up, because there was actually a court case here in Ontario. I'm in Toronto, so in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And it was Climans versus Latner was the case. And it's very interesting, and it caught my attention. And the reason that it caught my attention is because I don't know if it's going to redefine the rules in terms of what common law is for immigration purposes, but it certainly raised a few eyebrows. In this case, there was a couple, and they behaved as a couple privately and publicly, but they maintained two separate homes. And the court found that they were a couple for many reasons, besides owning a home together, having children, or even sharing bank accounts. The court relied on the fact that they had a 14-year relationship. They vacationed together frequently. He gave her a 7.5 carat ring and other jewelry, gift, stuff like this. She had quit her job and regularly slept at his house. They talked about living together. He proposed several times and referred to her by the last name. And he gave her thousands of dollars every month on credit card, paid off her mortgage, expensive gifts to the kids, et cetera, et cetera. The Superior Court of Justice in Ontario ruled that the couple was in fact a longstanding committed relationship, despite having different homes, despite having a number of different things. They lived together at a cottage for the summer. They were together during winter vacations, things like this. And he was actually ordered to pay a very substantial sum of money. So this was actually brought up to a court, and it was brought up to a higher appeal court. And the appeal court actually agreed with the reasons of the lower court's judge, which is interesting. And the reason that it's interesting is that actually set some really new bounds. It's going to be very interesting to see how that actually plays out in terms of immigration, because again, we have the immigration law, but we also have the ability to take things to court and challenge them under judicial reviews and things like that, and subsequently reset some of the definitions and things that happen. This has happened a number of ways, or a number of different ways, and a number of different times over the course of many different areas in a common law system, which we have here in Canada. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. If you believe that you're in a common law relationship or possibly in a conjugal relationship, I think we all understand if we're in a married relationship or not, please feel free to reach out to us here, and we'll be more than happy to help. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, because we're always looking to put out some great videos and content for everybody here. And our goal is basically to educate you and give you the information that you need. All right. So hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for watching. And again, we'll talk to you soon.